The memory of the Shoah in contemporary Hungary is a hot memory. Survivors, children of victims, perpetrators, bystanders are living together in the same society, which means that different memory communities are confronting each other, living together. And this hot memory lives in a fertile tension with the historical knowledge provided by the academic disciplines. These two facets, these two forms of historical memory must get into a fruitful exchange, and our conference wanted to provide terrain for this exchange. Ignác Romšič is a member of the Hungarian Academy of Science, historian and a leading expert of the interwar period in Hungarian history. And one of his books is biography of István Bethlen, who was a leading politician. The main question of his contribution and of the following debate was whether there was a straight road from early anti-Semitism of the Holy period to the Holocaust.
István Bethlen was one of the most important politicians in the 20th century. If I consider the positive achievements and the negative features of the politics of Bethlen, so for me, he's the right-wing conservative politicians who has a place or have to have a place in the memory of the Hungarians. In spite of the fact that somehow Bethlen was also infected a bit by anti-Semitism. I think that it is important to know what was his view, what was his perception about Jewish presence in Hungarian history and Hungarian society, and what was his politics with policy vis-à-vis the so-called, in quotation marks, Jewish question. He was not prime minister when the first anti-Jewish law was promulgated by the National Assembly, the so-called numerus clausus, but he was the politician who modified this anti-Jewish discrimination in 1928. Somehow after that the proportion of the Jews at the universities increased somewhat.
Monika Kovács is a social psychologist, professor at the Eötvös Loránd University in Budapest. Her contribution was mainly on the different forms of facing the Holocaust, and she raised the question whether existing models of facing the past, like for example the German one, can be used or not used in countries like Hungary.
We should find some kind of context why to face this past. What we really want for the future is not really clear. So when all these 60s were about human rights, and this time actually nowhere is about human rights. It's more and more about nationalism and ethnocentrism. Nobody really talking about reconciliation. Everybody's talking about facing the past and responsibility taking, which have been taken several times, and it seemed to be that there is no really kind of easing the tension. That one side, the victims and second and third generations expect something different, and it seems to be it's kind of like very rigidly kind of we don't go anywhere from here.
After 1990, after the fall of the Iron Curtain, there was an interesting phenomenon in Europe. The new democratic European identity was actually defined by setting two historical boundaries. The first one against fascism and the second one against communism. So the other of the new democratic Europe was defined historically by two dark periods of European history. The fascism and the communism, very powerful symbols of these two totalitarian dictatorships like Auschwitz and Gulag, became subjects which had to be faced by all those who wanted to contribute to the emergence of a new democratic Europe. Facing the dark chapters of the European past became a moral obligation.